Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be looking at some updates regarding multiple streamers causing issues overseas. We're going to begin with Vitali, who's been causing a lot of issues in the Philippines with his recent turn to Nuisance streaming. However, he is very quickly finding out that the authorities in the Philippines, they're not messing around with this stuff and they are making an example of Vitali. So hopefully nobody else tries the performative nonsense that he is doing for content over there. So in case you're not familiar, I'll give you a very quick rundown of what's going on here. So Vitali is a content creator who's been making videos for a very long time. He popped off with prank videos about a decade ago on YouTube. However, he faced a lot of different controversies, including a very serious one back in 2020 when he was arrested for allegedly very brutally beating a random female jogger in an event where he claims he was on mushrooms. And what do you do when you are dealing with a lot of controversy and trying to make a comeback? Well, you go to Kick, and you can see the absolute bangers he was releasing in his final days before he was arrested. Banger stream titles like Vitali disturbing the peace in the Philippines. And obviously, there is a whole catalog of clips showing absolutely abhorrent behavior from him. I'm just going to play a short compilation of some of the most ridiculous stuff he was doing.
Sir, I have a question. I have a very important question for you. Can I shove this up your booty?
What?
Is that okay or no? Okay.
Huliin mo, kuya.
Can I give you a kiss? No, I have a question for you. They won't recognize me. No, yes. Okay, yeah, they took the ass. Yeah.
Shangri-La po. One and then there. Okay.
I'm gonna fucking rob you if you keep walking away. That's my only fan left in the chat. Since I don't have any fans, since I fell off, my only fan, bro. Coming through. Come, you wanna get knocked out? It's coming through. Don't you wanna scare me? Here, film yourself. Let me see.
Oh my God, so many laws have been broken today.
So yeah, I'm sure this comes as a big shock to all of you after watching some of those clips, but he has been arrested. That was something that happened a few days ago, and now we have the official mugshot. As you can see, Vitali is very smug. That was his initial demeanor whenever he was facing authorities, but I think that sort of smug attitude is going to be changing very swiftly because he's facing potentially decades in a Filipino prison. Also, during this time, he was banned on Kick, which is pretty hard to do. Pretty much the only way you get banned on Kick is, well, if you get arrested. Like, you have to get formally arrested for them to even consider pulling the plug on some of these channels. But that's kind of Kick in a nutshell. But on top of that, we saw him rolling into the station a few days ago. This clip came out, and as you can see, again, very smug, very dismissive of everything going on. That is not too surprising because really, he thinks he's going to get away with it, even making a kissing motion towards the camera. He's very full of himself. However, things are changing and hopefully his demeanor starts changing for his own interest eventually because he's being made an example of on a national and international stage. So he was put out in front of Filipino authorities and absolutely blasted during this press conference. This is a still image from some videos we're going to watch in just a second, but basically you can see they are making an example of him. They are putting him front and center and making sure that Filipino law is going to crack down on this man. And again, I don't know if there's like a message here with this shirt. If anyone knows, feel free to leave your comments or leave the funniest answers in the comment section of what this BIWF means, but your guess right now is as good as mine. But as you can see, he was made an example of. He is literally doing a perp walk in front of this press briefing. They are making an example out of him. They are making a show out of him in many ways. They're putting him front and center while he's sitting there in handcuffs. And during this press conference, as we'll see some examples of, he's still being annoying. He's still disrespecting everyone in the room, including people who are very motivated to bring the hammer down on him. I have no idea what he's thinking. I don't know why he's gotten to the state where he wants to throw away his life to stay in a Filipino prison, but that's what he's doing. He's completely cooked at this point. But there was also a very important stage in this, and of course it's translated roughly here, but they designated him, the Bureau of Immigration, as an undesirable alien. What that means is they want to keep him in the country, and later on in this clip, they say outright, we won't deport them. I'll just read the subtitles for you guys. He'll answer the laws here in the Philippines. Then, crimes they have committed can now be punished by Filipinos. Yeah. For example, we are serious that in our own country, we will not deport them. So they're just flat out saying, we are not letting him go. We are not deporting him. He's not going to be saved by a deportation. He's going to be tried here in the Philippines under Filipino law, and we're going to punish him. And they're very motivated to do so. On top of that, we have this clip from Atozi here, is one of the people very closely covering this situation and other nuisance streamers causing issues overseas. In fact, his video, one of his initial videos on Vitali, was actually used in the police report alongside all of the various actions he committed during his stay in the Philippines. And in this recent video, he actually used some software to translate some of the things being said during that press conference, and we can get an idea of the charges he's facing and the underlying actions they are attributing to those specific charges. So let's give it a quick listen.
So here we have, I guess, the charges against Vitali, which aren't 100% set in stone from what I can tell, because he just kind of threw out a lot of the things that happened that they're investigating him for. So first you have unjust vexation, which is engaging in behavior that caused annoyance and distress to others. Then you have alarm and scandal, which is actions that disturb public peace and order. Then you had attempted theft, which was trying to unlawfully take a security guard's firearm. That's a serious charge. That is, like, did this happen after my coverage? Did this happen after he was arrested?
And I'll answer that in just a second, but we'll let him keep going.
I don't remember that being on the stream that I skimmed through. That is a serious charge. Then you have the 2 counts of theft if they go after him for taking the motorcycle and the industrial fan. And then also that face mask, but they returned the face mask pretty quickly. So we'll see what they do there. Then you have the threatening to rob an old lady as well. But what I didn't know until now is apparently if you steal a motorcycle in the Philippines, you can actually get up to life in prison. And this
beautiful. But he's not going to get life in prison for that charge. I mean, him kind of scooting away like Fred Flintstone style on the bike without even a key in it. I don't think they're going to give him a life sentence for that. Probably not anything too serious. But still, the fact that he's going overseas and putting himself in a position where he could face life in prison just for one of the many charges is absolutely crazy. Okay? And apparently some of those theft charges, each one could carry a 12-year sentence, meaning he could be facing decades in a Filipino prison. I mean, I hope it was worth it, right? But you also heard Atozi talking about the situation involving possibly reaching for an officer's gun, and he's not sure where that came from, but I think this is what they are referring to. I played this in one of my videos reacting to these clips, and I thought he was just grabbing onto a random officer's belt, like with flashlight, other utilities and stuff like that. But I didn't know there was a gun. And if this is the correct clip, this is insane. So he begins by basically sexually harassing this officer, this guard, whatever you want to call them. And then we see him reach for his belt buckle.
Get the Shangri.
Shangri-La.
Yeah, they took that.
Shangri-La po.
Oh yeah, okay. So watching this again, by the way, I just noticed this now. Yeah, that's definitely a gun. that's definitely a gun on his hip there. And watch what he does next. I mean, not only is he already looking at it, but starts reaching for it.
No, they told everyone.
I don't know why I didn't see that the other times I looked at it, but yeah, that's very clearly a gun. So that is definitely what they were referring to. I think it's clear as day. That's really, really bad. He's lucky that didn't end a different way. If you did that in the United States and he saw you reaching for his gun like that, an officer, it'd be the last time you're reaching for anything. I think that's very clear. But yeah, it's not good. On top of that, I said his demeanor has been ridiculous. So as some of his clips are playing here, you can see Vitali start applauding himself. He's applauding his own clips. Right, look at this death stare right here. Do you think this guy's amused with you, Vitali? This is the guy in the group of people who could basically bury you. I don't understand for the life of me why he's doing this to himself. It's just a crazy act of self-sabotage. Like, it's one thing. Like, it's bad going to prison. It's real bad going to prison. But the only thing worse than that is going to a prison overseas. Somewhere where you don't belong. And clearly, looking around, here's an example. Does he look like he belongs? He's going to have a very hard time in a very brutal prison system, by the way. I would not want to be in a Filipino prison or any prison for that matter, but still. Why he would do this to himself, I don't know. I think he's on some sort of a mental break at this point. He's had many in the past. There's no way anyone who's thinking rationally would do this to themselves. On top of that, here's another very strange clip. You might have seen it earlier, based on one of the clips you're reacting to, but watch how he's acting in the background as this clip is going. He starts reaching for this hat. He wants to put it on for some reason. They're just like, bro, cut it out. What do you... It's just stuff like that that's insane. While he's literally being put in front of national television to be made an example of, he's acting like a fidgety weirdo and just making things a lot harder for himself. Okay, so that's it for Vitali right now, but I want to return to Mizkif. So obviously a very big content creator, been around for a very long time, and he's facing a lot of criticism recently for this clip right here, where he and some of his friends are doing pull-ups and gymnastic tricks on sakura trees, which are very, very culturally and spiritually important for the Japanese. And basically they're only in bloom like this with flowers on them for 2 weeks, and he's obviously shaking the petals off. This is something that even a day one tourist in Japan should know is very disrespectful. I think that is a very fair thing to say. You have to know this is disrespectful. But of course, he deleted it after he got a lot of heat. Not because I think he felt really super sorry at the time. He was getting put on blast by other content creators and people all across the board. And eventually, he has now made an apology, saying he wants to make a quick statement about the cherry blossom tree. And he was doing pull-ups, and he was informed later that it was really, really bad. And he only noticed after he woke up the next day, and there was these viral things going on. And he's been in Japan, and he's so sorry, and he thinks this is a bad example, and asking his viewers not to attack anyone who's criticizing him, and yada, yada, yada. But this doesn't seem very sincere, especially after there are multiple reports that he was, in a very angry fashion, DMing people who were criticizing him and saying some pretty unhinged things, which apparently, according to a lot of people, is not something foreign to him. Apparently, he DMs a lot of people who talk negatively about him. But here's an example with Kaho, who is one of the main people calling him out. This is what she said.
Are you shitting on him? Because he sent me a personal message. Yeah, shitting on me. Yes, that's why. And it's all about me, me, me. There are like 3 me in 3 sentences. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so your community actually reflects you. Wow. I was like, I was shocked. I was shocked. And he actually deleted that comment later on from like a Discord. Yeah, but of course I screenshot it as evidence. Yeah, you shouldn't be, Kaho. Our community is the best. Oh, thank you. Well, you're one of the best. Yeah, it's like so disappointing. I got so personally disappointed. Up until that point, I thought like, you know what? You know, he didn't know, or they didn't know. I mean, it's not about this one guy. They didn't know. You know, of course, they can always excuse it. I was gonna, you know, help them have the opportunity to explain themselves, even to the Japanese community and the English community. And they were like, oh, yeah, really rude response. Really rude. And there were 3 me in 3 sentences. And there was no period in the sentence. That really, you know, my OCD is just like freaked out.
So apparently the message she's referring to is basically saying like, I can't believe you did this to me. You're making me look bad, me. Clearly trying to flame her for calling him out. She was the main person, I think, at least got the most attention on the Japanese side calling him out. And yeah, he didn't like that. And according to other people, he's been doing the same thing in other controversies where people were criticizing him. Just very strange behavior. But on top of that, some posts like those from Dexerto reporting on the situation have been conveniently deleted, which is very odd. So people are kind of scratching their heads as to how that happened. But the bad result, and almost predictable result, is that some Kick streamers are now trying to repeat the actions of Mizkif and his comrades over there, and they're now going around and doing pull-ups and gymnastic tricks on trees.
All right, Mizkif, I love you so much. I saw you come to this tree and touch it very respectfully, so I thought, you know, you looked like you were having so much fun. I didn't want to miss out. Let's have more fun in Japan, why don't we?
Oh no, he's gonna do it. Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know where they find these losers who do this stuff. Like, man, oh man. Again, it's just like, I don't understand. There's not much attention for people like this. Like, believe me, this is not someone who's popping off and going crazy and getting crazy numbers in Japan doing this stuff. It's just scratching for any tiny bit of relevancy by being hated by everyone and being a laughing stock and a nuisance to everyone around them. This is absolutely the most embarrassing form of behavior. Nuisance streamers deserve absolutely nothing. And now they're desperately trying to mimic what Mizkif did for attention. And apparently, too, this person doesn't actually like Mizkif, by the way. Let me make that clear. But yeah, this is a trend now happening among Kick streamers who think this is an easy way to get attention. But the attention they're getting is just people flaming them and making fun of how desperate and pathetic they are. But anyways, that's going to do for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.